Ashstep looked to Driftkit, giving a soft purr. He nudged Snowbreeze's cheek with his head, effectively booping her.
Snowbreeze was purring from the affection. Even with the hard times, she had her mate at her side. Did you find any prey on patrol last evening? She asked, hopefully, still looking to her kitten.
No, he replied swiftly. It had clearly been on his mind. But I'm not the only warrior. I'll see if any other cat has brought something back that didn't instantly go to the elders, he hummed.
I'll be fine, but I'm worried about Driftkit. He's smaller than kittens his age usually is.
I know. He licked her on the head. He wanted to apologize, but he was doing everything he could. I'll go back out now and see if I can catch something larger than a mouse. We've had enough of those recently.
She looks back at her mate. There has to be something out there. Have you eaten? A hungry warrior won't hunt well.
A hungry queen will struggle to raise the next generation of warriors. I'll be okay, I promise. I won't let myself get too hungry. But you're taking care of more than just yourself.
I know. Good luck. She didn't know what else to say at this point. No one could do anything about the lack of prey.
He nodded simply, his paws urging him to leave as soon as possible. His stomach ached. He frowned. Of course, nothing. He glanced over at the gathering patrols, but he had a better chance at catching something on his own. And they were already organized anyway. He was letting his nose guide him, but it didn't get him very far. He found himself close to the thunder path before getting any hint of something other than damp grass. But what he smelt wasn't usual. He couldn't place it. Rarely would a warrior stray this close to the thunder path, but his belly was louder than his reasoning. There was something over here. Set up right next to the path was something weird. It was like a really, really small den made of a shiny metal grid-like pattern. Normally he'd go right back to camp and report this to Splexstar, but this smell. There was meat inside this unnatural thing. It wasn't prey, though. Whatever it was, it had been removed from its source. But it was fresh. And food. And his mate was starving. It was worth the risk of whatever this thing was. But considering it was solid and unmoving, he didn't seem afraid. He sniffed the edges of it before ever so slowly crawling in. He took his time, waiting for any movement or shifting, but everything stayed still. He was a whisker length away from the meat before it snapped. Suddenly, harshly, his flank was hit by a quickly moving panel. It forced him forward, almost causing him to step into the food. He turned around harshly with a hiss, but no one was there. There was no animal, no two-leg, nothing. It had moved on its own. He hissed angrily. Was this thing alive? No way! He stuck his paws through the grid of the structure, but it didn't budge. His panic increased as he realized how cramped it was. He no longer cared for the food that was trapped inside with him. He twisted and turned and hissed until he grew tired. But he kept fighting until he couldn't. He ducked down, giving a terrified growl before completely passing out. Suddenly, he woke. He let out a growl again, still finding himself trapped. But this was worse. He could hardly see out of this one, and where was he? This trap was much smaller and felt weird under his paws. His nose was flooded with unfamiliar scent, one that was disgusting to him. His pupils narrowed to slits when he saw the massive figure. He'd never seen one before, but from what he was told, this was a two-leg. It leaned over and opened the front panel of the trap. He backed up as far as he could, trying to stay away. He let out a hiss. The two-leg quickly left, as if leaving him to leave on his own. His body ached from more than just his struggles in the trap. How long had it been? And once again, what did they do to him? He slowly stalked out of the trap. The two-leg nest was huge. There were faint scents of other cats, but nothing new. It seemed like the two-leg that had passed was the only one in the den, too, and they had also gone. There it was, that same food that led him into the trap. But it was in a small thing that contained it. He was starving. The food was weird. Honestly, it didn't taste bad, but the texture was weird, and it was cold. It would never compare to a fresh mouse. Padding to the front, he caught a glimpse of the outside. The terrain wasn't anything like shadowclan's marsh. Seeing a gap between the door and the plastic flap, he pushed his head through it and was able to squeeze out. If I am able to squeeze out. Let me out. He let out a small purr as he felt the sun on his pelt again, but he still didn't know where he was. Oh!
The large dog sniffed around the area till it turned facing the feline. Its large frame tense when its tail wagged.
He let out a yell when he saw it. A dog! He was so confused about the surrounding smells he didn't even notice. He froze. He didn't know where to hide.
The Tom perked up hearing the shuffling behind him. "Bailey, what's all that noise?" He locked eyes with the newcomer.
He was horrified.
"I see our housefolk have brought us a new partner." He turned, speaking to the canine. He then walked closer to the cowarding cat.
It just approached alongside Puffball, its demeanor now seeming all playful than scary.
You can talk to that thing? His hackles were still up. At least there was another cat.
"Oh, don't let old Bailey here scare you. He wouldn't hurt a fly. He's just happy to see your new face is all."
And the dog has a name. New face. I'm not staying. How did I... Who... Huh?
"Now I see you're still a little cattywampus from your trip. Allow me to introduce myself. Meowdy, name's Puffball, and I live here on this establishment with Bailey and my housefolk. My people's taken strays whom look a little worse for wear and give them somewhere to stay, where they can get back into the swing of things."
A stray? What's that mean? It sounded like an insult. I don't need help. Stealing a cat from their home is cruel.
Your figure would say otherwise. My folks were just being nice. No need to throw a hissy fit. Might do you some good to stay a while. You ever sleep in a dog bed before? I say surely it's worth doing once.
The dog huffed at the comment. It's bad.
He looked back at his malnourished frame. It's not usually this bad, he murmured. Your housefolk stole me from my home. I have a mate and a kit waiting for me, and you act like this is normal.
Why, you're madder than a mosquito in a mannequin factory. Now you best stop that fiddle farting around or I'ma jerk a knot in that tail of yours.
What? His confusion countered his anger. You're mouse-brained. Whatever's in that two-leg food must have made you dense.
He brushed past the comment. I assume you being here means you had a visit to the cutter.
I didn't go anywhere, he bristled. I was caught in my territory and I woke up here. I don't know what they did to me, but I'm leaving before they do anything else.
Whoa, slow down there, partner. You're still slower than molasses in January. Rest for a bit. No harm in staying.
All harm in staying. My mate could be starving. Keep your dog from following me. He skidded to a halt when he realized the land in front of him was a thunder path. This one wasn't familiar to him, though. But he had to get back to the forest. He didn't realize until far after he'd crossed that he was in ThunderClan territory. The Thunderpath had covered the scent markers, but at least he was back in clan territory. This meant he wasn't as far away as he thought. He blinked. Of course. A patrol.
Dustbunny would stop in his tracks, jaw slightly agape. Is that what I think it is? His whiskers twitched.
Kitty pet, she sniffed. Yuck. You're far from home. Man, and I thought today was just gonna be a simple one, he sighed. Ashstep flinched. I'm not a kitty pet, he hissed. Dear StarClan, this was not happening. It couldn't be, Golden Laurel piped up, almost too enthusiastically. I've never seen a kitty pet before. They blatantly disregarded the protests.
Well, you look like a kitty pet. Smell like a kitty pet. Dustbunny gave Ashstep a look, which leads me to believe...
Golden Laurel's ears perked with intrigue from the Tom that stood in front of them. But why did they feel a sense of deja vu? Had they met before? You look thin for a kitty pet. What, the two legs didn't feel like feeding you? Are they normally just plump? You're right. They look like fur and bones. Yeah, scrawny. Like that squirrel I caught earlier, they grumbled.
Well, things like you certainly don't belong in our territory. We can do this the easy way or the hard way.
I'm a ShadowClan cat, he screeched. Either way, he wasn't supposed to be here. She narrowed her eyes at the cat, pretending to be a kitty pet, stealing prey. Low for even a frog eater, or, well, a prey stealer, he hissed.
ShadowClan? That makes it even worse. We're gonna teach you a lesson about trespassing.
No, you can.
Ah!
Oh my god, the lag.
Oh.
Yeah. You're just
Oh my
still.
god, someone just flew.
He bolted with a hiss. There were way too many of them to even think about standing still. Shove him in the water! He jeered. He stopped at the water. Was this riverclan or just a stream? Either way, he couldn't swim.
And never come back, he spat, pushing Ashstep into the cold stream.
Loser! He nearly instantly ducked under, not having the strength to keep himself upright in the rushing water.
Sagewhisper shot a glance between the reeds of the riverbank. He saw the Grey Tom clearly struggling to hold his chin above the water. Without a second of inhibition, he dove in nose first, his sleek form coursing along the river, vying to reach and grasp onto the Tom's scruff. Sagewhisper dragged the stranger towards the shore, blinking droplets out of his own eyes.
He began to cough and hack violently, trying to breathe. He had never been in the water before. StarClan, where was he now? It took a moment before he even realized it was a cat that pulled him out of the stream.
As the adrenaline began to wash away from his pelt, he refocused and began to recognize who exactly he was looking at. But he kept his mouth shut. Are you alright?
He spat the last of the fish chasing water from his maw. I think he was interrupted by another cough. Fine!
StarClan above! These ThunderClan cats are always shoving cats in the river for riverclan to fish out! He groaned, digging his claws into the sandy shore. It's getting old!
I'm sure it's old to the cat to keep ending up in the river, too, he mumbled, still catching his breath.
I bet, he gave a hearty chuckle. The thought was biting at him. It was at the tip of his tongue, and he just had to say something. But, hey, aren't you Ashstep from ShadowClan? Why are you all the way out here?
He blinked, his eyes now wide. Oh, yeah. Wow, a cat that didn't assume he was a kitty pet. This tree must have washed the scent off of him. This was a cat he'd met at a few gatherings before. Ashstep was a social cat. He was surprised thunderclan didn't recognize him. Sagewhisper, yeah?
That's me, he nodded. Ashstep remembered him, at least.
He breathed, actually having time to recall it now. I got trapped by two legs trying to find prey. ShadowClan is struggling, to put it lightly. I woke up in a two-leg nest, got stared at by a dog, who was called off by a large fluffy cat who said words I've never heard. I crossed a thunder path and realized I was in thunderclan. Got chased away before I could even explain I was trying to go home. Then, yeah, you saw what happened after.
Sagewhisper's eye twitched. He spoke after a pause. You know what? I think it'd be funnier to believe you, so I will. You're having quite a day right now.
His eyes shone at the sympathy. A breath of fresh air, ironically. I just need to get back to Four Trees, and I can find my way back.
I mean, I can escort you there. If you'll have me. He jested and puffed out his chest.
His whiskers twitched. Please. Oh. Everyone lagging.
Am I teleporting? Oh.
You're going the complete wrong way, also.
Oh. Wait. Say, do you really eat frogs?
I'd ask the same about fish, but clearly you've been eating something other than land prey. Riverclan doesn't seem hungry at all.
Well, here's unfortunately where our journey ends. He dramatically drooped his head. He fixed his throat. Four Trees is right over there. After that, you're practically home free.
Ashstep nodded. You're acting like I'll never go to a gathering again. Thank you, Sagewhisper. You're the only cat I've met so far that actually wanted to help me get home.
It's nothing. I'll see you around.
He dismissed himself with a nod. You can see Four Trees from here. His ears perked when he saw the Great Rock. Behind that stretch was the thunder path he'd gotten captured next to. And after that...
Tom leapt, pinning the trespasser to the ground.
She hissed. Far from home?
Trespassing on windclan land isn't smart, fish breath, he snarled.
He let out a screech, caught off guard by his hope to make it home. He was met by the one-eyed warrior. I'm not riverclan, he hissed. How many times was this going to happen? That's a shadowclan cat, Snakejack pointed out. I've seen him at gatherings, though he doesn't really smell like one, she chuckled. He can smell like whatever he wants. He's in the wrong place.
His eye narrowed, getting an actual look at the cat. They were drenched. It's soaked fur, yet it does fit the bill for shadowclan cats too, he guessed. Exactly. Trespassing is still a big no-no. We should just bring them back to camp. Figure out what Cattlestar will do with them.
Ooh, we should put him in the prison den. Sharphiss, always so kind. I would have given him a scar and run him off. I had to! He'd explained this many times before. The only way to get to ShadowClan from RiverClan is to go through Four Trees. I'm not even past your border!
Yeah, who's gonna believe you? The outsider? Or their own clanmates? He snarked. He grabbed their scuff and then dragged them along the ground now. He then tossed them in with what strength he had.
His body was too weak to fight. He was tired, hungry, and now further from home than he was moments ago.
Just some dumb shadowclan cat we found trespassing. We'll get Cattlestar to figure out what to do with them with this swamp dweller.
Oh, okay, she purred rudely, padding slightly more into the den. His pupils stared at the massive amount of cats. He crawled to the corner of the den. Fleabag, why do you sink like fish? She asked bluntly, clearly just to be rude. He turned his back to them, curling up defiantly. He pouted, but he was in a den, even if not in his own camp. It wasn't in their interest to hurt him, and he was so tired. He slept much longer than intended. His hunger woke him before the sun did. He hadn't slept since he was captured, and he only ate soon after that. Was he going to survive this? She moved to make space for the leader. She looked over the cat as she entered the cramped den. Don't look like much of a threat, do you? She hummed. Certainly no reason for you to be in my camp. I agree, he huffed. I was just trying to pass through 4 trees. I promise I didn't set a paw on the moor. She glanced back at the den's guards. I'm just trying to get home. He lowered his head, almost in a beg. I apologize for my warriors. The lack of prey has driven some mad. She raised her tail. I can personally escort you to the shadowclan border. Is that correct? Yes, shadowclan. He piped up. Finally. Lovely. Follow me then. Losers. Do you think he'll tell his clanmates he won bravely? Silkwhisker, tell the cat who brought this trespasser here to wait in my den. She spoke over her shoulder. No. Maybe he... She blinked at the leader. Oh. Sure. Safe travels, shadowclanner. Thank you. His breath was no more than a whisper. He was carried by sheer willpower at this point. He took a deep breath, his body filling with instant relief once he smelt his home again. Thanks, StarClan. Oh, StarClan. He was tired. A wave of exhaustion flooded over him now that he felt safe. He tried to continue, but he fell. At least he wasn't afraid this time. He fell unconscious. His senses were overwhelmed by the smell of herbs, but more notably, shadowclan. He kind of just stared at her. I made it back. Huh. Frogbilly watched as he came to. Ashstep, she breathed. Welcome home.
She creeps closer. It sure looked like her Ashstep, but he was different. She sniffed the air around him. Ashstep?
His eyes shone as a familiar white pelt stepped forward, alongside a smaller gray one. Snowbreeze. Driftkit.
Her eyes narrowed. What has happened to you?
He swallowed. A lot. I walked into a two-leg trap trying to get food. I'm so sorry. Driftkit had a little dab of mud on his muzzle. He stared at Ashstep with wide eyes. She beckoned Snowbreeze over with her tail, chuckling. Don't be a stranger now.
She walks up to him. So it is really you, huh?
We'd almost thought you'd... you know. Her expression was forlorn. I know I don't smell right. Trust me, I've been told. His tail swayed. Quite peculiar, actually. She crinkled her nose. Upon Ashstep's pelt, she scented the acrid thunderpath, like oak and the willows at the same time, but beneath it all, there was the marshiness of their own territory.
Having gotten confirmation that it was really him, she whacks him on the head. Then where have you been? 3 days! I thought you were dead!
She stood up, clearly startled. Let's not cause any more injuries now. He stuck out his tongue, purring. Ah, there it was. I'll explain everything. Aha! Driftkit knew the way his father looked when he was feeling silly, even though he didn't smell exactly the same. He skipped up and around his mother, latching onto Ashpelt's pelt playfully.